That's right, it's Tam for KP's Video News, and I thought I would take the time today to kind of come through with a few things that I've been thinking about, and I've been thinking about them for a while now. And as this whole situation gets worse by the day, I think it's time for myself, and just as a precaution and as a reevaluate my way of thinking right at this particular time is to assess two things, the things that you need and the things that you want. And as it stands, people are going through the motions and they're trying to acquire the things that they need at this point. And for decades, and for hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years, people have been up until the present time dealing with things that they want up here and the things that they need like down here. And I've always tried to keep an even balance, and I'm not perfect, and I don't keep an even balance because a lot of times my wants are up here and my needs are down here. So it's like the things that we need, like food and water, shelter, health things that help us stay healthy, like medication and all these things on that level. And then we put the stuff that we want, like clothes and cars and shoes and jewelry and all this other stuff. We're finding in these days, in these trying times, that all those things are totally irrelevant. And as things are going right now, we're going to discover that all those things are going to be totally worthless in the days and the years to come, because what's going on right now, in my opinion, is a whole new shift. It's a whole new shift that's going on. And at first, when I first thought about when Donald Trump got elected, I was thinking, I said, this guy's a businessman, so the first thing he wants to do is try to destroy the workforce, break it down, get rid of pensions, get rid of unemployment compensation, get rid of Medicare, medical things, anything that a businessman would have to pay for out of their profits. That's what I was focusing on. He was focusing on trying to eliminate completely. And I thought when he first took office, this was just a thought that went through my head. I said, it would benefit him and all the other rich people if they did destroy the economy. Because therefore, if they destroyed the economy, they could break you down so tough to where you would be willing to work for $2 an hour. So I mean, if they devalued the money so much to that point, and it's like, okay, when they got rid of, and the jobs were eliminated, which is what's going on right now, jobs are being eliminated daily, you would be desperate to pay your bills, so therefore you would accept any job that you could possibly get. So those salaries that are like up here are going to start going down to the point of bare existence. And this is, like I said, this is opinion, and you could take it, or you could leave it. But basically, it's happening right before your eyes. There's a lot of cities are shutting down. A lot of states, California, Washington, New York, and several other states are coming online with that whole thing about everybody stay at home. So those people with those mediocre jobs, they're going to lose those jobs. Those jobs are not. It's not going to be anything to go back to. Those jobs can't afford to give you money while you off work. They'll go broke, and before a person that has a business would go broke trying to help you, he's going to help himself first, and he's going to fire you in order to keep those profits. Now, what we had was one of the largest transfers of wealth that ever happened on the face of the planet when the Republicans came up with that garbage tax bill, and they signed that garbage tax bill into effect. That next day, it was the largest transfer of wealth that has ever happened on the planet. Not just in the United States, on the planet. You talking about trillions of dollars was transferred from your pockets to the pockets of the wealthy by eliminating taxes on the wealthy, but the taxes were not eliminated on the working class. So that was the biggest transfer of wealth. That was the first part. Now, with in conjunction with that tax law that they put into effect, the part that you didn't read was that they also had another part of the tax law that also gave them a chance to do the biggest land grab in world history. So right now you got Jared Kushner and hundreds of other real estate investors, and guess who's a real estate investor also? Oh, the president, that are buying up property like crazy. And everybody's talking about gentrification. This is the biggest transfer of property that has ever happened. So that the loophole they had in the tax bill stated that if you invested money in the urban areas of these major cities, that you would automatically get an immediate tax break. You would automatically see a profit, and your property would automatically increase in value basically overnight. So they're supposed to be trying to help those underprivileged areas, those inner city areas, but in effect what they're doing is taking that, they're investing their money right next to those areas that need the help. And they're building, they're building condominiums, and they're building, properties for the people that people that work in those offices downtown that have moved to the suburbs. They're getting a chance to move back into the city, so they're buying up all this new property that's close to their jobs, whereas they was perfectly happy working away from home, living in the commuting back and forth to work. Now they don't want to commute anymore, so therefore it's detrimental to them. They feel is to move back into the city again. So they're basically buying up all this property that's adjacent to those so-called urban areas. In Los Angeles, they're doing things so bad in Los Angeles to where the average apartment is going for like about $2,000 a month. So they've driven people out of their apartments, and that's why the homeless problem is so bad in the city of LA. I've never seen it, because you can go, I don't care what part of town you go to, you will see homeless people everywhere, where it used to be just like downtown. So now, with that particular saying that about the land, now you got to think about the your movement. They're stifling your movement, and so basically using the virus as a means to keep you from moving around, and eventually that's going to be come to the point of declared martial law, when they make it mandatory that you don't go out, or say, well, you can go from 6 to 6, and then after dark you're going to have to stay in the house. And that mandatory movement, that martial law, will in effect also affect the work situation. And so that movement, it's a bad situation. What it all boils down to is that this whole situation is coming to a whole new world order, and a new world order that will basically, since your money's going to be so low, eventually money will be obsolete. And if you don't have access to credit cards, or you got a lot of money in the bank, and so that you can use that to maneuver and get around and buy the things that you need to buy, at some point, if they devalue the dollars in every major country, to the money would be worthless. It would be totally worthless, and you would have to be able to get credit. So if you're not part of the social elite, that means you won't be able to get anything. You won't be able to buy food. You won't be able to buy gas. You won't be able to pay your bills. So you'll be out there, and this is a whole new world order. And the people that have always been talking about the new world order for some reason has always been like those neo-Nazi type groups and those militia type groups that want to try to overthrow the government and all that stuff. And they've been talking about New World Order for a long, long time. But however, they don't even realize these so-called neo-Nazis in the United States and the Klan and all them, they don't even realize that they're being used as pawns by the rich to, in effect, create chaos while you're over here creating chaos. The social elite, the filthy rich, are stealing, and they're going to put you in a bind just like everybody else, because those neo-Nazi groups out there, you're expendable to them, because as long as you're not contributing to their cause, you're expendable, and once they get through with you, you're going to be exterminated just like everybody else. So wake up. And then so this story here that I discovered, I'm gonna do this story now. This is probably gonna be one of my longest casts here, and this is an opinion from Arizona Republic. He said, "He is not Dr. Donald Trump. Ignore the president's assertions." And this is a op-ed. This is an opinion from like I said, from one of those other news articles. It said President Trump wants to provide Americans with the most optimistic view possible at his press briefings. Others might call it bizarre and even delusional, and that's what I call it, delusional. Whatever you choose to believe, however, when it comes to medical information or drug treatment, do not listen to Trump. He is definitely not a doctor. In fact, do not listen to anyone who isn't of the nationally recognized experts leading this, the COVID-19 fight, like Dr. Anthony Fauci. And you're talking about some people that he's the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. And then you had Trump. He came out and he spoke about chloroquine. Well, I may be pronouncing it wrong, but it's spelled CHLOROQUINE, and that was a drug that they use for to fight malaria. So now a Valley man has died, and his wife was seriously ill because they tried to mix up their own anti-coronavirus medication based on the stuff that they heard Trump talk about on TV. The couple are in their 60s. They took a chemical called chloroquine phosphate, an additive commonly used at aquariums to clean fish tanks. It was days after the conference in which Trump spoke about the chloroquine as a possible COVID-19 therapy. The woman whose husband died told the news media that they mixed their own concoction because we're afraid of getting sick. As a public service, the all coverage of the pandemic is free of charge. So set free, she said within 20 minutes of taking the chemical, they were dizzy and hot. Then she said she started vomiting. Her husband started developing respiratory problems and wanted to hold my hand. Now, to the rest of us, she says, be careful and call your doctor. This is a heartache she'll never get over. Treatment is not based on a feeling. A feeling. At a news briefing last week, it showed very, very encouraging early results. This is what Trump said. Trump has been talking about that chloroquine, and at a news briefing last week, he said it showed very, very encouraging early results and said we're going to be able to make that drug available almost immediately. So, the FDA Commissioner, Stephen Hahn, tried to tamp down the president's enthusiasm, saying the drug would be available in the setting of a clinical trial, a large, pragmatic clinical trial to actually gather that information and answer the question that needs to be answered and asked and answered. All you cats, if it's anybody that's watching this that are incarcerated, man, I feel sorry for you right now, because you know how it works. They will definitely be using you guys as guinea pigs, on these drug trials, and it's really sad. It's really sad. This is the state that we're in right now. Trump said it may work, it may not work. I feel good about it. That's all it is. It's just a feeling. Please do not risk your life over one of the president's feelings. Don't do it. Anthony Fauci said, there's no proof yet that the drug is effective. There are tests ongoing. Research labs and drug companies are working hard to find treatments. When they know, we'll know. In the meantime, listen to the experts and the doctors, not the DC dunce. So you can make your own opinion. This is an op-ed that I read, and it's also an opinion that I believe as well. You know, I'm not taking advice of the DC dunce. I'll listen to the Dr. Fauci. That's spelled F-A-U-C-I. I might be pronouncing his name wrong, but that's the little short guy that be coming on the news, on those news briefings that they usually have on TV with Trump. Wears glasses. Look, he's probably the shortest guy on the podium, but he's also the smartest. So if I'm gonna listen to anybody, I'm gonna listen to the smart people talk. And hey, it is what it is. We're heading to a new world order, folks, and a lot of people are not gonna make it. Sad to say, a lot of people are not going to make it, and the ones that do survive, you know, only thing we can do is hope and pray, man, for our kids and grandkids and the generations to come, man, that their lives will be a whole lot better, and they'll, you know, things will be greater for them. But in the meantime, it's like older people, as it seems, are dead, are on the target list to be eliminated. Older people can't work, and they can't do anything to help society on that level. But we do have minds, and we do have you know, things that we can do. We do have experience in life that we can share with the younger people. And I'm gonna keep my eye on this really, really closely, because if they're eliminating old people, that means all of Congress should be gone, and the president, and the Supreme Court. Everybody in those jobs are old. We'll see if they survive. If they survive this whole situation, if those old fogies up there on Washington, on Capitol Hill in Washington, survive this whole coronavirus thing, and the other old people throughout the country don't make it, we'll know that this is definitely something that never should have happened in history. It's all opinion. Peace. Be safe, folks. Be safe.